Hi everyone, it is Jessica. Thanks for coming by my channel today for another Makers with Heart video collaboration. Now this month my friends and I are focusing on how to add color to our projects, and we're each sharing the ways that we like to do that. So for my double page layout, I'm actually using these papers here from Close to My Heart. This is from the old Stitched Together collection. I really love that rainbow stripe paper, and I thought that it played nicely with all of the colors here in my photos. And then since these pictures have to do with a reading night, I did pull two stamps. One is called Date Stamp and the other is called In a Book, and I'm going to be using those to color later. Then I am inspired to follow this particular pattern from the Make It From Your Heart Volume 3 book, pattern 33. My layout's not going to be exactly the same because my photo sizes are a little bit different, but I did definitely use it as a guide to get some of these initial pieces cut and the placement of everything. So I've already gone ahead and cut my papers, and then I edge distressed each of them with a coordinating color of ink pad, and that is one way that I like to add color to my layouts, is to edge distress things with the ink colors. And then I'm just kind of laying out here where I think I might put some things. I've got those stamps stamped out, and then I use the coordinating die cuts to cut them out, and I haven't colored any of them yet, but that's where I'm thinking I want things to go. Now I do still have a lot of white space over here on my left page, and so I have gone into my stash, and this is one of my favorite stamps. It's an older one. It's called Watercolor Impressions. And basically it's a stamp set that has a bunch of blotches on it. And so you can create this fun like watercolor look, hence the title Watercolor Impressions, by just stamping on your project. And I use this one quite a bit. Now this is from a couple of years ago, but there are still some stamp sets that are very similar in nature to this. And so I will make sure to leave those linked down below. So I'm just going to cover up some of that white space on this left page by using my Glacier ink and one of the biggest splotches on this stamp set. And I'm stamping these so that they go a little bit behind that one photo mat. But there's still a lot of white, so one of my favorite things to do to add color is to take my gloss sprays by Dina Wakley and then tap them against the paper. And just as a little note, I was holding on to this, the top of this by the little plastic lid, and it came undone and I dropped it. But it's okay because it ended up falling right behind where that photo mat is going to go. So, all right, so I've got, I kind of go back and forth between the right side page and the left page. So I'm going to move back to the left page now and start putting my papers on. I've just been adhering things down as I go once I've decided that, you know, that's definitely going to be the placement of everything. So you can see here how I have covered up a bunch of that white that is showing on this left page with that stamp, as well as the splatters. And so again, that is just one of my favorite ways to add some color to my layouts. Okay, now the cool thing about using this Versamat and then a T-square ruler is that I know exactly where this blue photo mat needs to go to line up exactly with where my right-hand side page was. So I just taped my page down to my Versamat, which is that black mat there that has the grid lines on it. And then I'm going to use my T-square ruler to kind of hold it in place later and get it down. So I'm kind of looking at this and trying to see, at first I thought maybe I would use some white embossing powder and stamp something, you know, above where I'm going to have those books and that girl who's reading the book in that extra blue space. So I don't adhere this piece down just yet because I'm not quite sure yet what I'm going to do with that. So I'm just kind of thinking, and then I'm like, I think I need to put a title over here somewhere. And so this is where you can kind of see me doing a little bit of fussing as I'm thinking about things. I know I want to put these die cut pieces over here on my right side page. And then, like I said, you can see here, I know that that's going to go lined up exactly like so. Okay, and then that has also made a visual triangle because I have 3 different points of my die cut pieces. But again, what am I going to do with my title? And then I think, you know what, I've got that watercolor stamping over on the left page. I need to bring that over a little bit to the right side as well, just to make sure that it coordinates a little bit. So I kind of fuss with that, and then you'll see later in the video where I do take one of the smaller stamp pieces and I stamp a couple of blotches on that library card catalog piece. But again, I'm just kind of thinking title here, maybe. I don't know. So while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to turn to coloring some of my die cut pieces out so that way I can kind of, sit and think for a little bit. Now, another way that I like to add color is to use my Tri-Blend Spectrum Noir markers. I love them because they have 3 shades of the same color in one marker. And I am not a coloring expert by any means, but I find it very easy to achieve a beautiful look with them. Basically what I'm going to do, you can see it better here with this true blue color. I go around the outer edge of my image, and then I also kind of follow some of those stamped lines. So for example, here on her jeans, wherever you see the wrinkles, sometimes the stamped image kind of guides you where there should be some darker colors. I'm using the darkest color of the marker, and I kind of outline that. And then I'm going to color most of the image in with the middle shade of the color. I leave a little bit of the inner space blank so that I can go over that with the lightest shade. But I do find that most of the time I color in the majority of my images with that middle shade, using the darkest one, just like I said, as an outline, or wherever you have like those stamped lines that kind of show you, here's where there should be some shading. And then I'm making sure that I go over the darkest edge with my middle color. So I always layer over top of things, rather than just butting up to the edge of wherever I have colored. So always go over top of whatever you have colored. And then the lightest one just blends it all together. So always a good idea just to go over everything with that lightest shade of the marker. And at first, when you finish, you might still see some of those harsh lines, but as the ink dries, it does definitely blend together beautifully. And so I'll go ahead and finish coloring my images off camera. And again, that's one of my very favorite ways to add color. Now here you can see I've decided to bring that stamp set back out, the one that has the splotches and the watercolor impressions on it. And I'm just going to put a few tiny little stamped splotches on my library card just to bring that over to the right-hand side. There. Okay, and so now I'm back to fussing with the left side, and I think I'm ready to go ahead and commit to this photo mat and putting my die cut pieces down. I've decided not to do any of my white embossing powder like I was kind of initially contemplating on that piece. So again, I'm going to tape my page down on my Versamat so that I can pull out my T-square ruler. I know exactly where I need to line it up so that everything matches with the other side of the page. And it's that simple. Love my Versamat. Helps me keep everything straight. Okay, and then I want to put the books just slightly behind the girl. And then I also have this stitch circle that I pulled out because I thought it needed just a little something else. So the circle's going to go in the very back. So I'm going to make sure I glue that one down first. And then off camera, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put thin 3D foam tape on the row of books, and then regular foam tape on the girls so that each layer in that little cluster gets higher and higher. And so then she'll go there. And then I want to stamp something in that circle, and I probably should have done that first before putting my pieces down. I like this one that says just one more chapter. So what I decide to do to make sure that I don't mess up my stamping is I'm going to put the stamp down where it needs to go. And then I'm going to pick it up. Well, I'm going to try not to drop things. I'm going to pick it up with my block so that way I'm keeping the block like off of the other die cut pieces. I hope that makes sense. I was just trying to make sure that when I stamped it, I didn't, have things uneven and screw it up. So I found it easier to kind of put it down and pick it up with my block that way. And it turned out perfectly. So there we go. All right, I like that. And then off camera, I had one other little book that I had colored, and I'm going to tuck that behind that row of books there. Okay, now I'm so excited about this. You guys, I created this cut file by myself on my Cricut. Like, I didn't even know I could do this. I spent some time looking around for a cut file that said something about reading that basically looked like this. I couldn't find anything. And then I just started playing. I was using the Artiste Cricut collection from Close to My Heart. And what I did is I grabbed those letters and then I did the offset feature. And then I layered basically like the offset and the regular, and then I did a slice, and then I just kept it, and then I put them all together and I welded it. I don't even know, like I'm basically a Cricut novice, and somehow I made it work, and I was just so super excited that I had created that title by myself, and nobody in my family understood, but I was like excited to share it with you guys because you're my crafting people, and I knew you would understand that that was an exciting thing that I did. So I totally made that title by myself on the Cricut. Okay, and so then I stamped with my farmhouse alphabet the rest of my title, and then I just popped that up on a piece of paper on some foam tape. Okay, I'm going to go around and add a few more stamped sentiments from that same In a Book stamp set. This one I like, gives a little definition. And even though this is just an event at the school, and it was for March's Reading Month, and the kids were kind of doing more crafts than anything, I still just kind of went with that whole reading and book theme and used it to add all these embellishments to my page. And then the last one is going to go over here. I had some more journaling that I thought I would put down. So some journaling will go over on that library card on the right page, and then the rest of the journaling will go here to the left page, and then that is basically my layout. So as you can see, I've got some color in the markers, I've got some color with some stamps, I've got color with splatters. There are so many fun ways to add color to your projects, and the other ladies in the Makers with Heart group are going to share their favorite ways to add color as well. So make sure that you check out all of their videos that are linked down below. I am the first to go this month, and tomorrow is going to be Kim Ferguson, and then each day, there will be somebody else until we've all had a chance to go. So again, I will leave those videos linked down below. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you have enjoyed, and as always, happy crafting and have a wonderful day. Bye guys.